So yeah, you said he been stressed this week. What happened? What's going on with him?
Oh, I'm not going to be giving away his secrets in public.
Okay.
No, I think he's just been working really hard, I think. And I've been bugging him all week. He one night I called him. It was really funny because I said I would call him sometime between 7:30 and 8 because that's when I have the kids in bed already and I can like do a call. And
Mhm.
I called him at like 7:40. He goes, I literally just stepped in the door. Like, how you're so on time. I was like, and then he proceeded to actually take his time and talk to me for a good 2.5 hours. I think we talked, just trying to he walked me through how to create a shot list, what it entails, how you do it. And I mean, generally, he talked me through just some pointers that he had on the script. I mean, he said basically he liked it so much if I make no changes, it's great. But you could do this. And then he had a couple of really cool ideas. So we'll see. I'll probably do that. And then we had the meeting last night and he was just not in a very good mood, but I think he's gonna be fine. I hope it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry I couldn't attend, but
It's all
yeah.
right. It wasn't your time. I know. It was just it was hard for me to find and this is now we're getting to the problems of having an independent film that you don't pay anybody for, that you are now not in the position to just request for them to like free up time.
Hmm.
So they're this looks really weird what you're doing right now.
Yes, like it's raining and I can really hear him, so I have to shut the window. It's like really bad out there. Yeah, it's like, what is he doing? Is he playing with this?
You're gonna pet him. Like, what is he?
It's like there's no background. Like, what is he doing? Yeah, it looks weird and stuff like that. We're gonna well
But yeah,
take
I really just wanted for crew and cast to just meet. And we had the 30 minutes and we got cut off and that was it. And I just sent a follow-up email today saying like, I know we got cut off, but I think, the most important parts got said. So I think we're good.
why'd you guys get
Everybody
cut off?
met,
Why'd you guys get cut
everybody's,
off? Oh, you didn't do the pro you didn't
I had the free version. Yes.
oh, okay.
So
It's all good.
I'm gonna try to mooch off of your or Trey's version next time.
Good, 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 good. Well,
Like,
when you leave, you do have enough time to like if you need to clean up the script and stuff like that, look at it, develop your
yeah.
story structures, I mean the shot list and all that kind of stuff. So you've got time. You've got time. So
Yeah, that's the plan. I will like really, really buckle down and do that. The only thing was like Terrence really wanting to get the pictures of the location. My niece took the pictures of her kitchen, which she's got a beautiful kitchen. It's a very, very cool place to shoot. I'm very excited. And their bedroom, just so that he can kind of picture it already, I'm guessing. And then also because I had said, we would do 2 half days or something maybe because most of it is like an after dark scenario. So they
mm,
wanted to see how many windows are there and can we technically just black them out, and shoot during the day, pretend it's
okay.
night or whatever.
Yeah. Cool,
She's
cool.
got a lot of windows in her house, so
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What was I gonna say? So obviously probably for like next week, the next 2 weeks, we're probably not gonna be able to do the episode. I'll figure something out. But what was I gonna say? How you gonna have to email me, right? I don't think you can use your cell phone. Can you use your cell phone or WhatsApp?
um I can do WhatsApp, yes. I can do
Okay.
WhatsApp. I can do the Messenger, normal, Facebook, Instagram messengers and all that stuff.
Okay.
Don't call me. I made the joke last night. Don't call me while I'm there. It's gonna cost you.
Yeah. All right. So in other words, just if we need to, if we have to, we can do one episode, at least one
I
in
think so.
Germany and one in
Yeah.
Poland, and you got to be out. You got to be in public so people can see.
How?
I don't know. You got to be in like a coffee shop, maybe like a coffee shop because we want to hear. I want to hear the people speaking German and Polish. You know what I'm saying? In the background. So that would be, that would be cool.
I'm trying to think. I could probably in Cologne, I could probably find a coffee shop with Wi-Fi. There's no guarantee that the connection will ever be good enough with that kind of stuff, for a
In
video
Po-
call.
in Germany?
Like in a public place, those internet connections are always like used up by all these other people. I don't know.
I
Plus,
mean,
it's been 9 years or 6 years since I've been there, so I don't remember. Things have changed. I'll find it.
yeah, you
You
don't have to
know,
stress. Don't stress yourself about it. If it's gonna
no.
be too much stress, then we don't have to do it.
What if I,
Hmm.
what if I try to sit in front of the cathedral in Cologne when we do the
Outside,
episode?
outside,
Yeah.
would the cathedral have Wi-Fi?
No, no, I mean, I think the city does. Like, I think there's like downtown city Wi-Fi in
Really?
Europe cities.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you think you can
I'll,
do
I'll
that, then
check. I mean, again, things
yeah,
change since I
check.
was there
All right.
last.
All right. I'm still waiting on them to pop in, but
How
let's
was your week?
uh my week was okay. Nothing spectacular. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Work.
Nothing spectacular. I had to shoot something earlier today. It was something for the guy who's editing the feature film. He wanted me to come play a role. It's supposed to be like a prank show. You know, some of these prank shows where like, I'm supposed to be going in to go pay for some sex from a prostitute, but it's a prank show. And then they bust right
God.
before we're about to start. Then I've already paid her the money. And then as I take my trousers down, that's when they now bust into the door saying like, "Oh my God,
No.
why are you soliciting sex and stuff?" And I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" And I'm trying to get my money from the prostitute and I'm just like running out and stuff like that. So this is supposed to be the pilot season or the pilot show or
My
something like
goodness.
that. So I'm just like, I didn't want to do it, but he's begging me and he's doing the editing. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. He was gonna pay me. I said, no, 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 don't pay me. No, 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 no. Let's
That's cool.
this is you helping me out, even though, and I'm helping you out. So it was fun actually. We actually had fun.
Yeah.
We actually had
That
fun
sounds
doing it.
fun.
At first I didn't like this. I thought it was like, wait a minute, are you trying to get me to do porn or something? Like, what are you trying to get me to do? But
Well,
once
you
we
still had your underwear on, right?
oh, hey, no. There was nothing crazy or anything like that. I still had my underwear on, still had my boxers on and everything like that. Nothing crazy. Nothing happened. It was supposed to
Mhm.
be a prank show and it was actually fun. It was actually fun. Then, I think, you know, then somebody in the hotel where we were doing it got mad and they called the cops and stuff like that. So we had to
What?
leave. Yeah, I'll tell you about it later. It's really crazy and stuff like that. But anyway, it was real crazy. Other than that, my
That
week
could have
was,
happened to me this week. I got the cops called on me.
yeah, I got the cops called,
The usual.
it happens. So other than that, nothing happened this week. Everything was just normal. I had to like shoot like 3 videos of Bola's top 5 lists last night. Then I gotta shoot 3 more tomorrow so that I can have those ready for next week, pop those out and stuff like that. So if we in place of movie unboxing, we're just gonna do Q&A. So I'll have to do the Q&A with Terrence. I'll probably watch his movie next week and then just call him in on Thursday and just do a Q&A, kind of like what we did, but this time it's gonna be the filmmaker. And I'll just like, well,
I
you
and
want
I love that idea because I know Terrence would love to get his movie out here, and I think that's a great idea. Yeah,
yeah,
you will just ha give him the room to
to
speak as a filmmaker of what he was thinking while
yeah,
making his own film. I
I'll
think
just
that's a
ask.
great idea.
Yeah, I'll just ask him some questions and stuff. I already got those questions lined up
Ooh,
anyway.
we'll do that about Killer Sinners and Spies, but I'm interviewing you.
Exactly. You can do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that'll be
Yes.
fun.
That'll
All
be
right.
fun.
Well, let me know if you need help getting some questions down, but I
No problem.
haven't seen it yet either, so I have to watch it.
All right.
I know I desperately have to watch it now. Now at this point, I really owe him to at least. But
Yeah.
no, it wasn't out last time we talked. It wasn't out yet, and I was like, I could come to his house and watch it, and it's hard to do with my kids logistic wise.
Yeah.
But now that it's
But
out for
yeah, it's
retail,
up.
I'll
I
get.
gotta watch it again. All right. So let's rock and roll. Marty,
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Movie Unboxing with Marty and Bola. We are a writer, director, and actor, and an actress and a writer, and each week we dive into a film to unbox how it was made and what makes it tick, talking about the movie from a filmmaker's perspective.
and today,
Today.
finally, we should have done this a month ago.
least a
but
month ago.
at least a month ago. But
But Marty can't go to the movie theater.
Marvy can't go to the movie. She can, but it'll be logistically, it would just be a problem with the three kids.
Yes,
You know what
it's
I'm
hard.
saying? So
Unless they can watch the film too,
unless they
which
can
this
watch the
one
film,
was not one of them.
yeah, yeah. But we are doing Sinners. We are going
Dinner.
to. This was my idea. This was my suggestion from last week, and we're doing Sinners today.
Yes.
I'm sure everybody has seen Sinners. Maybe just a few people haven't seen it by now, but I'm sure a lot of people have seen Sinners, and they're
Yes,
really
it's very
dying
popular.
to hear us unbox this movie. Now, we've got two of our other filmmaker friends. They were going to be on the show today. We're waiting on them. Ife was on earlier, but it's a little bit of a technical thing going on. In fact, let me text her and see what's going on because I think they're driving. They had a meeting. They had their own group meeting, and so
Hmm.
that's probably holding them up. Hold on. Coming on. Let me see what's going on. But anyway, and then Trey is gonna, he's on his way back home, so he should be coming on in a few, probably in the next 10 minutes or so, like that.
Yeah.
So we'll
So,
see.
but
But
for me, this is a very great timing that I have seen and I get to watch and unbox the film because as of this past week, when like I said, I had been talking to Trey for hours on the phone, and I am in the works of making my own film and learning things like shot list, things like color palette, things like the color rule within a film, things like using the color to express emotion and holy shit, did that have a lot of that in there? Like it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So I started reading about the color palette based on like how do you make a film look aesthetically pleasing by not having too many like crazy random colors and stuff like that, right? And you did do something called 60-30-10. Did
I
you
don't
hear
know.
about that? Did you read
I've
about
never
that?
heard about
So
that.
you have 60% of one color,
Hmm.
30% of another color, and 10% of just the pop.
Oh,
And that's
okay.
what they did. Even how they were dressed alone, like when the twins were standing together and it was
Hmm.
like everything was one color. Then you had their suits and everything was the other color and their hats were different, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pop.
I noticed
And there
that the
was,
second time.
yeah, and there was a couple of scenes where it was so actively noticeable and it almost felt a little bit like there was some foreshadowing in there and all that stuff just with like a tiny 10% pop of color. It was
Yeah.
amazing. I
Yeah,
thought that was
Trey,
really cool.
Trey was the one that talked when I first watched it in the theater. I didn't notice the color. Trey was the one that first told me about the color. He said, like, notice how the color is changes with the brothers. Like one brother is blue, and that's Stack, and Stack is very he's cool, calm, and collected and stuff like that. So that
Yeah.
blue reflected his demeanor. Red was
Yeah,
for
exactly. The emotions in the color,
yeah,
amazing.
red was for wait, Smoke is who's the one that was with Mary? That's Smoke, right? Or Stack?
That's Smoke, I
Smoke,
think.
That's
Smoke was with
Yeah,
Mary, I
Smoke
thought.
is the one who didn't turn to the vampire.
okay.
Who did
Smoke is
not?
the so it did
Okay.
okay. Smoke is the one in blue. Then Smoke is the one in
It's
blue.
okay. Look,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
played by the same actor, okay?
yeah. They're played by the same actor, but it's good. We have to be very distinctive about it because Smoke is the one that didn't turn into the vampire. He's the one that's cool, calm, and collected, and that blue reflected his cool, calm,
Yeah.
and but precise. He was very precise in everything he did. Stack is the one in red. You know that he's a little fiery, he's
A
excited.
little more, yeah, a little
Very
more easily
jovial and stuff like
activated
that.
and
Full of
stuff.
life. He's full of life
Yes.
and stuff like that. So that the color, the way that Trey told me that from the first time we talked about it, and so the second when I watched it just a couple of hours ago, that I really noticed the color. I'm like, oh, they even got him in
Yeah.
hats and stuff like that.
And that's why I'm saying this was such a good moment for me to watch it because I had literally just talked to Trey about how to create the color palette, how to tell your film with color. And then I sat down last night and I watched the film, and from scene one to the last one, the color was constantly there for me, like I was just seeing little things where I was like, oh my gosh, they're like already foreshadowing another emotion, or like they're bringing the date, like there's little sparks of something bad's about to happen already showing beforehand and all this stuff. And it was all with color. like it gave me chills because I literally just learned about it, so I like actively noticed it more. It was amazing. Like under just the color retrospect, I thought it was just the art piece.
Ife, you wanna introduce yourself to our audience first before you go
Hey.
into what did you think about the film and what did you notice
Okay.
about
So first of all, I love the film. I saw it twice. I saw it in IMAX. I wish I could have seen it in the whatever the giant one is, because that would have been amazing. But I couldn't go to Florida, and that was the closest thing to us to go see it in. As far as so there's because there's so much commentary online. So I was definitely looking for particular things even more, especially happened the second time. The first time I just was a watcher of the film. The second time I was like, let me see how Ryan is telling the story. And then having heard so many interviews and everything, I really think no matter what, like it is definitely up there with one of my favorite movies, for sure, for many reasons. But I did just see something and they were talking about how so this is not like you're saving not spoilers or anything like that, right? We're
the
just
No.
assuming everybody watching. Okay. I want to
We're
make sure.
assuming everyone's seen it,
Okay.
yeah.
We're
Okay.
assuming the whole world
So
has watched it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure. So what someone was talking about, because there's a part in the movie when I can't remember who it is right now, and they say how they have that Irish beer and they have the
Italian,
whatever they have.
yeah,
Italian
Italian.
wine.
Okay.
Italian wine.
So the way they were dressed was also a nod to the gangsters who were during that time.
Mhm,
So the way that Smoke had those caps, I
mhm.
think that was a nod to the Irish gang. And then the way that Smoke stack,
Facts.
whatever, I can't remember now anyhow. But anyhow, they were both dressed according to either the Irish gang or the Italian gang. So that was another hint. And so just the
Interesting.
level of storytelling and not just telling the story. I mean, you're talking about literally through every single mode that you could, except for feel. You just couldn't touch anything because
Right.
of the movie, but they told it through everything
Smell
with
it, maybe,
Yeah,
right.
right?
and
Like really, like so you could really feel this movie, because they told it in 3D. They
Yes.
told it in, the way they spoke, the way, I mean, Michael B. Jordan did an excellent job of distinguishing between these two characters to play this same person playing these two characters. He really did a lot of work to do that. And then you really see those pieces and parts I think you have to watch it more than once to really appreciate what they did
yeah,
because there's so much.
There's a
There's
lot.
so much.
There is
they're,
a
And
they're,
lot.
then
they're
have you seen any of the deleted scenes? So I watched one of the deleted scenes, is a music scene with Del Rey's character, and he's singing. And so his singing is amazing. However, in the background, so of course, so it's some kind of fancy shot they did. I forgot what the name of it is, but Del Rey's face is clear in the front, but then it's like wet, it's like blurry in the middle, and then you see uh Perline, and you see I'm getting actors' real names mixed up now. And what's his name? Who sings with the guitar?
Sam?
Can't remember.
Sam.
So no, Sam. So
Mhm,
you see them two talking because I feel like when you watch the movie, you're like they went from this conversation to this intimate moment. Like it was instant, right? But
mhm.
that deleted scene, you see how they are getting a little bit closer to each other. So it's just interesting. I want to sit down and watch and get the movie for home so I can watch the deleted scenes because I want to see everything. I want to see
Yeah,
everything, even what didn't make it into the movie.
yeah. There was I want to touch about the gangster thing that you said because when
Hmm.
you said that, and then I remembered something that they said. They were like, because they're stealing
Uh-huh.
Italian wine, so
Uh-huh.
they're working for the Italians. They're working for Al Capone in Chicago. So anybody knows that history, that was the time when
Right.
Al Capone and the Irish gangs were going at it. That ended up with the St.
Right.
Valentine's Day massacre. So they're stealing
Uh-huh.
food. They're stealing wine from the Italians, and they're also stealing
Right.
going behind everybody's back and stealing from the Irish. So they're pretty much setting up the war because Mary's character
Right.
said, "Oh, they're gonna if they figure you
Yeah.
guys out, they're coming to get you." And they were like, "We're already long gone." You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
already stole all this
Yeah.
liquor from them, but they're not gonna. They didn't know it was the twins doing it, and they're killing, they're shooting each other and stuff like that. So I like that he really set he set the story at a point where most people probably won't get that time in history. You know what I'm saying? Because that
Hmm.
probably
Hmm.
fly over everybody, but it flew over me the first time. But the second time I watched it, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is during Prohibition era
Yeah.
in Chicago.
Yes.
The two gangs are going at each other. So
Right.
that was the one thing I think they should have pointed out a little bit more was that they did serve in World War One. That was that they didn't
Felt
highlight.
like
Go ahead.
I felt like they said it multiple times, like I'm a soldier. I'm
Oh,
a,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
but maybe they didn't show. Well, you
He
had
looked
to
like
do
one
some.
too.
Yeah, you had to kind of do some deductive reasoning to understand the time period to know which war would they have served in because
Oh
he
yeah,
said,
yeah,
I'm a soldier, like that kind of thing.
yeah.
So,
So, but the main thing about this movie is the main focus of the movie is the music and how they,
hmm
before in the beginning they talked about like how music, how important music is. Music can be used for entertainment and stuff like that. We know that, but music
hmm
is also seen as something very spiritual in a lot of cultures. Obviously they were
right,
more focused on on African culture, but in other cultures too, music plays a very spiritual thing. In they talked about they did talk about a little bit of the Native Americans. They talked about the Irish and Scottish
hmm
culture. They talked about, I think they talked about the Chinese culture and stuff like that. And I think that scene, talked to Trey about it when I first watched it. That scene when they were when Sammy was playing the music and he was and when remember when they said like it conjures up ghosts from the past
yes,
and from the future, and you just saw
yes,
everything just started blending in. And I'm
yes,
like, that was the most brilliant thing I've ever seen
yeah,
right there when they blended all these cultures
hmm
and bringing from the past and the future,
hmm
and just it. I mean, that scene to me was that was it for me. That's I wanted to see that again. I want to see that
Which
over and
yeah,
over.
brings me, yeah, which brings me to the thing that I've realized last night when I was watching it, and I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, you know what? I keep forgetting to tell Bola that we need to have this thing while we're discussing a film of everybody pointing out what was your favorite scene.
Okay,
mm,
And
yeah, we
that
can
one
start doing
certainly
that.
was that. Like that was a whole new experience.
Yeah,
And
I
again,
felt
yeah,
like you said, it felt three-dimensional.
hmm
yeah, yeah, because
It was amazing.
the camera just kept moving slowly, and it was and it was
yeah,
moving, it was blending everything together.
Minimal changes until, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, and
it was
it felt
And
like
then,
before you go, it felt like I was looking at. I think I realized now. It felt like I was moving. I was looking at a painting that was moving,
mm,
a painting about
yeah.
the history of music, and and that painting just came to life. That's what it felt like to
So
me.
there have been comparisons to there's a classic painting that is from Good Times, the show Good Times,
Yeah,
and it's that scene, and it looks like that. If you look at it and you find the scene from Good Times, and it's like a juke joint vibe, and they have just people, and even though it's a painting, it looks like they're moving, right? And I think it looks when you look at a still from the movie, from that scene in that painting, it looks so similar to each other, and it's very interesting because he really did recreate that. And
interesting.
it was interesting because the first time I watched it and that scene came on, I I think I had saw too many stills and images from it, so it didn't move me as much. But the second time I watched it, I really zoned in onto each of the different dancers and the things that were represented. And I was just really blown away more the second time when I saw it. Because I mean, they had people in pop gear and they had I don't know what culture it is, the African culture with the mask and their feet move really fast. And
yeah,
Voodoo?
they had
yeah,
that.
Was it
And
like
they
a
had,
voodoo
I mean,
style
they just
thing?
had everything. They
yeah.
had
It was
everything.
that was
Really amazing.
I've seen growing up in Nigeria. I've seen those are like masquerades and stuff like that. So you see
Yeah.
that doing I remember the first time I saw it was when like one of these like tribal kings died and then they were doing the funeral. And so you
Mm,
see that going around and stuff like that. So I saw that as a child, scared the
yeah.
shit out of me.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
it definitely, I can see that, especially
yeah,
with the face, and it's not
yeah,
face, it's the mask, so yeah.
yeah.
So it
Yeah,
was
it will scare
interesting.
you. Yeah. And
But
then,
it
Yeah,
definitely is something that I would turn into a mural somewhere. Like
yeah,
you need to take like a really long wall so you can actually
yeah.
everybody and just make like this. It's
I wonder
beautiful.
if there's a real if they took a shot of that scene and made it into a painting, like you can buy it.
Somebody probably will. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that would be wise
Well,
because I've
speaking about
definitely
that,
seen
Yeah.
somebody do a side by side,
yeah,
and it's just
Marty,
like, oh,
do you know the she said good times the good times painting. Do you know what have you seen that
I
before?
don't think so. I
When you
don't
have a
think
chance,
so.
Google it and you it's a good
yeah,
times, just say good times picture or something like that. And
yeah,
you will
or
when you see it,
mural,
you understand you'll be like,
yeah,
oh, I see what you guys yeah, when I the first time
yeah,
I saw that and that came into my mind when I saw that scene. For some
yeah,
reason the good times thing came to my mind. I didn't know it was called good times, but I was just like, that
hmm
looks like it looks like that picture that painting of when they were just in the juke joint, like you said, and it seems like oh you see
Oh.
you're looking at it now.
Mm-hmm.
So you see what you see where how it
Ernie
correlates.
Barnes. It looks like it. Yeah.
It looks
That's
like it,
very
yeah. So
wow.
let's talk about the whole the I one thing I liked about another thing I like about this movie is that they went back to the original trope of the vampires. You know, some
hmm
other, back in the, I talked when I talked to Trey, we were big fans of True Blood because True Blood actually stuck to the vampire trope and stuff like that. Then you go to the Twilights and all these other
yeah,
little new ones. They just threw it out
yeah,
away and started, and it's just like, it doesn't feel right. This went back to it,
right.
and it did it in a very funny way because you don't realize what they were saying. They're like, yeah, just let me in. And you're like, let you in, bro. You be coming. What do you mean let you in? And be like, oh, you have to ask permission as a member. You got to ask permission to
hmm
come in. And
Yeah,
I like the way they did that because they didn't make it too obvious. They just did it in a very funny way to where like,
right.
wait, you can go in, right? And be like, oh, he's a vampire. He can't just come in. He has
Yep.
to ask permission to come in. And I thought that was very brilliant. I mean, I don't know why they said this movie was a horror film. It was more of a comedy to
Yeah,
me.
I think it, but I think about some of the vampire movies, especially, they were always had that element of funny to them. At least when, like when I think about some of the ones from like the 90s and everything in the 80s, some of them are really funny. That didn't surprise me. I think they did highlight in the previews the vampires a little bit too much, and it turned a lot of people off from going to see the movie. And a lot of people who haven't seen the movie yet, and I'm talking to them, they're like, I don't really like movies like that. I'm like, it's not. I
Trust
said
me, that's not what
that is
this
like
is.
the
Yeah.
smallest piece of it all.
Also,
Is
can I just say, whenever we're talking about like the aesthetics of it and the colors of it and the light and the cinematography, one big thing about it was that the vampires, and even when they were dying and half of their face was missing and all that stuff, it was still always beautiful somehow and aesthetically
that
pleasing. Not gross.
Mhm.
It's not like
Right?
whenever we
It
were talking
wasn't
about
gore.
Nosferatu and it was just like kind of hard to look. No, it was
Yeah,
still a beautiful picture somehow,
yeah. It
because of
wasn't
the light and
gory,
everything. Yeah.
Okay.
which is yeah,
That, I just like the fact that they stuck to the true vampire trope and they didn't take it
yeah.
somewhere else where
And
it would be like,
the
oh
whole
my,
the
yeah,
wooden stakes and the garlic, because a lot of movies get away from that whole
the
garlic
garlic, yeah,
piece
they get away
and the
from the
holy
garlic thing,
water. They get away from all of that.
yeah, and
There's a lot of movies.
I like that they stuck to that.
Yeah.
One other thing that I like was the also the symbolism of music, how yes, music, like I think we touched on it, but we're gonna say it again, like music can be entertaining, but music can also, if you're not, if it's such a powerful thing that if you don't control it, it can bring out the worst in you. And we see that, you know, and we see that in a lot of our musicians today, where they start off having control of their music, but then when the music becomes so powerful, it takes over.
hmm
It takes them to a dark place, and that's why you now
Right.
wonder like, and I think that's one of the symbolism that's moved the message behind what this movie was trying to say. Like you need to have some control over your music because music is such a very powerful tool. I mean,
Manifestation almost.
exactly. If you read into Christian mythology, what was Satan's job when he was
Right.
Lucifer, the head of the
Hmm.
choir in heaven? And
Right.
because he could sing and he was so beautiful, the music took over. Took over.
He
The
got
music took
Got
confused with
through to the
yeah,
people.
yeah, he
Yeah.
took over, the music took over him, and he thought he was God or something like that, and no, he had to
Yeah.
be cast out. So, and I think that's one thing about the music thing, and I like the way they in trying to explain that they touched on all these cultures and stuff like that, and saying like what correlates, what they're different cultures, but what brings them together is music. Because that when they all became vampires, and the head vampire guy was singing, how did he get them? He used music to bring them together. If it was a
They all
different
knew the
kind of music,
song, right? The second they died, they all knew the
they
song.
all knew the song, and he's dancing, he's doing the little Scottish whatever the song, the dancing thing
The
is, and they
river
all,
dance? The
the
river
river
dance
dance,
cracked
yes.
me up. That part
and
was
they
really funny to
and
me.
they all knew the song and stuff like that. He used music to bring them together. Music brought
Yeah.
them. Sammy's music guitar brought him, the vampire, over, and he used music to bring them all together and stuff like that for evil. But what I'm saying. So I just think I like that. I like the message that they were trying to bring. That we have Trey here finally.
Hi,
People will probably
Trey.
be wondering. We've been talking
Welcome.
about Trey all these episodes. They're like, this Trey's a
Yes.
mysterious person,
Who's this mystical
this
creature named
mystical
Trey?
creature. You know what I'm saying? The head vampire. He's here. So,
Hey,
guys, Trey, this is Trey that we've been talking about. He's a filmmaker, and kind of like a mentor to a lot of us when it comes to
Yes.
filmmaking and stuff like that. And he's here gracing us with his presence to give us his thoughts about the film. So, what do you think about the film? We've already talked about the colors because you taught us about the colors and stuff like that, and we said like in seeing it for the second time, we actually really noticed it with the two
right.
brothers. So, just talk about what do you think about the film?
Yeah, man. First of all, thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be here. I apologize for my tardiness, but God has opened up the sky in Charlotte, and it is raining ridiculously bad. So I really had to take my time on the highway coming from one of our meetings. So the film centers, man. It was just it's a sensational film. I love it. I love everything about it. It was a horror film, but like most black horrors, in my opinion, it tells some. It has a social commentary. I guess because maybe our history as African Americans here in America, talking about older times, was a horror story in itself. So when we tell these horror stories, there's always so many layers to it. This film, directed by Ryan Coogler, led by Michael B. Jordan, I just thought it was sensational. I thought the juxtapose of the brothers, marrying them together as one. I think on a lot of levels he may have been speaking to a lot of divides that exist. I know you guys probably spoken on the colors, but when I kind of find like maybe Bloods, Crips, um, uh, Republican, Democrat. He put them all in these twins, and I kind of feel like in some way he was saying we are one. With that, two sides of the same coin, and those brothers. There was a time I think that part when he died or whatever, he was like, "I am him,"
Mm.
and I think he drove that point home, particularly. And I want to speak about Grace Child, that character Grace. It was I think I'm not gonna say her name right. It was Lil Lai Julie or something. She was the Asian, the Asian
Okay.
character. Um, and I had different. How did you guys feel about her? What were you guys' thoughts about her in particular?
The wife when she
The
wanted to,
wife.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she represents, to me, she's her and her husband, and Haley Stanfield's character represents those people. Because remember now, another theme to this story is that Black people got to hold on to certain things that are sacred to them, and you can't let everybody in. There's certain people you can let in that are outside of the culture because they also help to, and because we also learn from them and they learn from us, and they help to enhance the culture. So I think her character, specifically is was brought in was is another part of is someone that's been allowed into the Black culture to help to learn and to also help to enhance the culture because she brings part of her culture into the African American culture, which is why you saw that Chinese dancer from from ancient China dancing in there, in that scene, that whole historical scene of the blending of the music from different cultures and stuff like that. So I think we all learn. It's kind of like when you say that we're all one and the same. We're all learning from each other. Her character to me was, I think, if you're trying to say that the stereotypical Black woman aggressive and stuff like that, they didn't put it in a Black woman, they put it in her. You know what I'm saying? And to show that, to me, it says like you don't have to. Anyone can be that, given the situation. And that situation, she called for it like this. I gotta go home and protect my daughter. I don't give a damn. Let them in, come in, and I'm gonna fight my way through. Obviously, unfortunately, she died the best way, the best death, where she just stabbed her husband and they both burned right there, and she was just there burning and stuff like that. So that was the way I saw her character. I don't know what which anybody else has any different that they saw her character.
So I've watched the movie 2 or 3 times at this point, and I have had different views on her every time. But I think she's necessary, and believe it or not, I on the third time watching it, I identify with her character the most. And the reason is she lost her husband, right? That's her husband out there. That's her life partner out there, and she what she didn't do, which I thought was crazy, they would have had to you guys would have had to kick me out. If that was my wife out there, vampire or not, I'd have lost my mind. Y'all would have had to kick me out. But she maintained her mind, and actually, I believe. Can we say spoiler alert? Have you guys
Yeah, yeah,
already
yeah,
said
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
very.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
yeah, yeah. You
No
can go. Yeah,
spoilers.
I actually believe her actions saved the entire town
Mhm.
because if she doesn't go if she doesn't do what she did, then they just stay in there
Yes.
safe or
Mhm.
whatever, and the vampires go to the town.
Yes.
Mhm.
Her daughter, her child was in the town, and all the other people it was in the town. So in a way, her character is really historic to me, heroic to me, because
Mhm.
she even though we all hated it, she said, "Bring the fight to me. This
Yeah.
this ends now." Uh,
Yeah.
so I really respect her character from that standpoint.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it does. Do you guys agree with that? How do you guys see
Yeah.
her character?
I've gone through, when I'm watching the movie the very first time, when she was like, I was like, now here she go, messing
Yeah.
everything up. But as soon as you started saying that, Trey, I started to realize that, wait a minute, by her being trying to get rid of the vampires. Because remember, they all shared the same mind. So they all knew that she had a daughter, and he had already threatened her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So by trying, at least she didn't know what was going to happen, but she at least tried to end it there. She was just kind of like with Delroy Lindo's character when he was like, "I got this, y'all go."
Mm-hmm.
She made them be the give everybody a head start, so to speak, because she put herself and them on the line. She didn't have time to ask and say, let's just strategize this, right? Because yeah, they could have survived that night. They could have won the battle, but they would have lost the war.
Yeah.
If she didn't say we need to go ahead and take out as many as we can and do what
Now
we
or
can.
never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
What
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about that the part I figure we're gonna touch on this, but that whole part of like remember when the three white vampires came in there and they were trying to get them in, they were trying to come in and they were like, no, we're not letting you in. And it was like, oh, is it because we're white? Well, what about that white girl? And then that Wumi character just said like, no, she's family. So that's when I touched on the part where like there's only certain people you can allow in from outside the culture. Is that something that you guys read into? That's something I read into.
No. So I didn't read that in there, and mainly because um Mary was a part of their culture. Okay. She had been identified as part of their culture because she was whatever percentage of Black that she was a part of her culture and she grew up in that culture. That culture was her culture. She honestly was cosplaying in the with her white husband. That was where that was a culture she really wasn't a part of. So I didn't feel like she was an outsider coming in. I feel like it really was saying that we can see someone and we can make a decision about where they belong, but that doesn't mean that we're correct. And I think she showed that by, and at the same time, she showed that she was a part of more than one culture at the same time because she didn't understand herself all the nuances that were involved in by welcoming and, because there are people who think that certain cultures are inherently have something to offer just by who they are and what they are. And so she kind of showed that duality because sometimes in the Black culture, especially, there is this feeling that you kind of just get along to go along and get along, and then you get in the space, and then you can make it better for the next people to come in. But that never ever happens. People get to the other side and they close the door behind them and they go on. So it's a false. It was her. She was overstating what she could have done to Stack. And Stack believed her because a lot of people feel that way. Like, okay, we're just going to get along for now until we get in this good spot, and then we're going to bring everybody else in. It never happens that way.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
what about then if we're going with if we I agree with that, then what do we say about the Chinese people then? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Do we use that same logic with them as part of like they're being part of the culture too?
but you got to something that I didn't notice until after I saw the commentary and I watched it the second time. They were able because they were othered by the white culture and almost other themselves from the Black culture. Remember, they had a store
On
on
either
the white
side.
side of the street
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
Black side of the street.
I was
yeah.
about to ask about that because they were literally divided on both sides. And so to me, as a complete outsider of this whole situation, it almost felt like they're welcome because they understand not like being noticeably not fitting in because they do look a little different for
Mhm.
straight white people, like plain white people. Um, but they were still able to somehow blend on the other side. So that's what I thought
Yeah.
why they were so welcome because they were just like
Well,
they understood,
well, I
Oh,
right? They
think
understood they know.
before you
I,
go, Trey, are you so wait, I just realized something. So you guys are telling me like they had two stores. So one side of the street was where black people was at, and the other side was white people. I just freaking realized that because I saw that. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of white people here. I didn't realize it.
yeah.
I thought it was the same neighborhood or something like
So
that.
Remember, it was it Mississippi, right?
Well, it's
Is
Mississippi
it
still like
Mississippi?
is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
at the
segregated.
time,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So
Segregation.
just it's just one line divides. So one side is
yeah.
white, and his daughter just went across the street to just.
And so I'm doing some research
Yeah.
for a movie during segregation, and didn't know this until, but they actually used to have. I mean, we know about the water fountain side by side, but they used to actually have like Coke machines that were one side was for Black people and the other side for like make any sense.
Wow. I didn't. Yeah.
So
So yeah. Go ahead, Trey. My bad.
so so a little bringing it back to a little film technique there. So whenever you see a lot of times whenever the camera follows a character, it's
Hmm.
doing that for a reason. If you
Mm-hmm.
remember in that scene that the
Mm-hmm.
camera followed from one reality across the street
Hmm.
to another reality. And that's what it was drawn. He was literally connecting the two for you to tell you that it was different. Um, but so yeah, I think, but I also think there, um, moreover than getting away from the story nuance in the culture conversation, he and they were actually telling actual history,
Mm-hmm.
because the Asian community was forced to live with blacks and live around blacks and the early Irish and stuff too. So at that time, for the Asian community, that was a real thing. So it's not only you know telling a story from a high level, it's telling actual history. Like, hey, these are the people in my neighborhood. Who are the people in my neighborhood? These are the people in my neighborhood. So
So would
Yeah.
the fact that she was on the other side, on the white side, would that mean that sort of almost like we're nearing the end of this?
no,
Mhm.
it was just a historical fact of who could have businesses who where.
Okay.
And the whites at that time always they saw these people as beneath them and able to, but they weren't black. They were able to have businesses a little bit more freely than some blacks were in different places.
Yeah.
Also, can we also with regards to that, can we also say like the Asian woman was able to sell there because she's a woman and not seen as a threat, whereas the husband probably wouldn't have been able to do that because remember now the husband didn't go over there to call to get her. He sent the daughter over there, another woman.
Yeah,
Could that
I think that's more of a nuance. I don't I personally don't know of any history that supports that nuance, but I think that was just a nuance, letting her. I think what they were doing there, and it's a device that I've used before in my storytelling, but I would make the assumption that the device that he was using there was trying to draw a line between the husband and the wife, letting you know that the husband is more cool or he's more um, accepting of everyone. And if you
Mhm.
remember, the wife was a little bit more withdrawn. One could say she was a little bit more
She had to
conservative.
be convinced.
Right. She had to be convinced. He was already down for the cause. She was a little bit more, yeah, she needed to be convinced. So I think more than the societal issue, they were drawing a line between the two characters, saying they are on different sides of this story. They are
okay?
on different sides of it. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Because
what
the
I
wife,
think.
he's negotiating with the wife.
Yeah,
Smoke was
exactly.
negotiating with the wife, and she's going back and forth with him and stuff like that. So that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
Let's also delve into because there's also a love story here. Nobody talks about it. There's two love
Multiple.
story. There's two love stories there. There's Smoke with what's the black lady's name? I can't remember her character's
It's
name.
more Annie.
Annie, and then with Stack and Mary. There's
Eh,
two distinct love stories there.
don't forget Pearline
Mm-hmm. And Sammy.
and
Yeah.
Sammy.
And so there are three. There are three love stories. If we
Mhm.
might even say
There's
four, if you want,
there's
if we want
four because
the
there's the
the,
Asian
the
couple.
Oh
Asian.
yeah. Hmm.
So four, but obviously we know the two primary ones were Stack and Smoke with the two. So let's talk about how the love stories were. It's not the main focus, but it was
I think it
there.
was strong.
Yeah, I think it is the main story.
You
I
think it's the
think it
main
was
story?
strong because,
Yeah,
They
well,
were both
especially
very
because
sad.
when you look at Stack and Mary in the future, I feel like, and the choices that they made, like how upset was Mary when Smoke killed Annie? She was
right.
upset because she was like, wait a minute, it was supposed to be y'all two and us two, and
Yeah.
Mm,
like you destroyed it. We had a chance to have something, to continue on, and you messed it up. Like,
yeah, yeah.
so, and I do think that's why I think it is a stronger
Yeah,
piece, because Ryan Coogler, he didn't have to show Stack with Mary in the future.
right,
He didn't
right,
have to do that.
And
But he
right,
made that couple, he made them as a couple
yeah.
in the
right,
future.
right.
Go
Well, it
ahead.
was almost like a little bit where the vampires are talking about that it's so much better on this side. We have no more pain, we have no more all of this. And then you have
Mhm,
them who were going through such a struggle, like not
mhm,
being allowed to be together in the end, sort of. And
mhm.
they get to do that. So
Yeah,
despite of like them saying at the end that, they haven't seen the sunset and they haven't seen the sun ever since and all that stuff, but they got that
they got
eternity
each other.
together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's and I think and it's even a love story between the brothers. Like
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think love is the driver of the story of the entire movie. It's about love, who we love,
Yeah.
how we love, and what we'll do for that love. And I think Marty, you raise a great point. Because that true love, like when he stood with his brother and they watched the sunset, he didn't know that was going to be the last sunset that he ever saw,
Mm-hmm.
and he saw it with his brother.
Hmm.
And then love is the reason he never saw another sunset again. It is your love, or is it eternal? Like that's they're going to spend eternity together, for the most part. And then with the Annie character, oh my God, that if that's not love, I don't know what it is. Like she
Yeah.
tells him to kill me because I don't want to be that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a level of, so when you're really in love, right? And I know, I've been married for a long time. I know Marty's married, and I know you guys have been in love before. But when you're really in love, there's a fear to it, like, because one day this thing is going to be over, like, and it's going to end somehow. And Mike Tyson, the great philosopher Mike Tyson, said something crazy one time. He was like, every story has a sad ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and what he was saying is, one day there's going to be a sad ending to every happy story. And I just get, when she says, kill me to smoke, I don't want to be one of those things, basically. Like, what strength does it take
To
for
do
him
it.
to literally do that? I think that's the hard
Right.
part, and on
There-
all these types of
Yeah.
movies.
I actually see two parts in that because there's that part, there's the overcoming yourself to end this because she
Mm-hmm.
asked, she begged for it.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of it is being him choosing, and he dies, and of course the way he dies is so poetic. It's so beautiful that she shows up and the baby shows up and they're all united in
Yeah,
eternity together as well. But
exactly.
also what I saw there was that what happens with love and if you're together for a long time, even if they're, I mean, they were apart for a while, and still, if you really, really love a person, you oftentimes end up, there's a compromise where you adapt some beliefs of the other person and the other
Yep.
way around. And for him, it was crucial that he was also not going to become one of those things. He was going to die the normal way.
Right,
They were
right.
going to
That's
go to
good.
heaven together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. I didn't even capture that. That's really good. Thanks for highlighting that, because that
It
is part of it.
created, it completed their family, because
Hmm.
Hmm.
if he didn't die, and there is some speculation that maybe he didn't die because you don't actually see him die and he wasn't in
Okay.
white, but that's neither here or there. But the fact that they were together in that last scene like that, it shows that it's they were able to still have that
Yeah.
eternity of love,
Right.
an eternity of family.
Their story was
So
very sad. I'm like, it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
with so few lines, they've told such a gut-wrenching story in the beginning
Right.
when
you
you
know
meet
what? And
her.
it's crazy because I didn't see it as that.
Yeah.
When she showed up with the baby all in white, to me it didn't feel sad. It
No,
Right.
no,
felt
I meant the
complete.
first time
Oh,
that they introduced her, when he
Yeah.
showed
gotcha.
up and he
Yeah,
basically spoke to the grave first, and then
yeah,
you could immediately tell they still love
yeah.
each other deeply, but it's so hard to be together right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. And I thought it was so funny. There's a part in there, I don't know if many people caught, but when they accused the vampire of being a Klansman, he was he got
He had
upset about
attitude.
that. Yeah, he didn't like that at all. It was like, a Klansman is so bad, not even a vampire wants to be accused of
Right.
being
He was like,
a
no,
Klan.
no, not that,
Excuse
sir.
me.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
He's
even
like,
he even
wait
he
a
even
minute.
said that once we
I
done with
might
y'all,
eat,
we're
I
gonna
might kill you
yeah.
and turn into a vampire. I might just eat you for dinner. but I
Yeah.
am not racist, sir.
He said
I am not racist.
he also said that once we're done killing y'all, we're gonna go meet that Grand Dragon Ku Klux Klan guy, and we're
Yeah,
gonna finish him off too.
the grand,
Like
the
that's
one
just
who was coming to get you in the morning time,
yeah, the Ku
anyways.
Klux Klan is
Yeah.
just despicable.
Yeah.
That was crazy to me. I'm like, really?
Well, that's a
Yeah,
Ife. You brought up a good point because the vampire is actually the one that told him that they were being tricked.
Yeah.
yeah.
That these guys were coming for them in the morning.
He said, "You think this your property? Nah, they coming back to get that in the morning.
Yeah,
That was a plan all along."
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
it's
cool.
crazy,
That's
and
why he
the
was prepared, right? Because he ended
right
up being prepared
Mhm.
Yeah,
because
exactly,
of it.
exactly, and in the beginning, which I don't, I'm with whatever Ryan wants to do, whatever Mr. Coogler, whatever you want to do, I support it. But it would be interesting to have a prequel, like what
Yes.
happened, because the way this starts, it starts like that vampire just came from barely surviving something.
Yes. So
Yeah,
that's what someone said. They want to see the story of the
yeah,
Choctaw,
the
Choctaw.
Choctaw,
the
Want to
Choctaw
see
Choctaw
Indians,
tribe, the
how,
Choctaws.
like,
Yeah,
I would love to see, like, and it's interesting.
Choctaw
So
Native Americans. Okay.
it's interesting too, because when I think to, we talked about how it follows the typical vampire lore, but I think about Twilight. In Twilight, it was the Native Americans who were fighting against the vampires, even though they
yeah,
turned to werewolves. But that part,
Yeah,
but it's interesting that that's the same people as Native
yeah,
Americans who are in tune to the land, in tune to people, in tune to the
right.
spirit world, who are the ones who recognize this evil for what it is, and
Yeah,
they're the fighters against it.
yeah.
yeah, and we need to learn from them because when they
Mhm.
they were pretty much like, "Hey, the sun going down. That's your problem."
They was like,
I
bye.
tried.
It's a
That's
hey,
like,
son, we're gone, you know. And
Yeah,
I like that scene where they actually knocked on the door, and the woman came out with the gun, and he's just calm and cool, collected. Like, listen, man, there's this dude walking around here. He's not who
he
he
ain't who
says
you
he
think he
is.
is.
He's not who
there's
he
a
says he is.
man going
Just
around.
yeah,
Yeah,
let me come in there and handle this for you. And she's
Help
like,
me
nah, we
help
ain't got
you. Help me help you.
yeah. She like that. There ain't
yeah,
nobody here. Nah, nah, nah. And then guys like, oh, the sun's going down. I'm like, okay, well, God be with you.
All right, I tried.
I tried.
yeah,
I'm out. You on
I'm
your
not
own.
dying today.
Hey, I'm not
yeah,
dying. I was gonna help you out, but you know, you want to be you want to be you want to be a hardhead. So
yeah.
this we could go on and on and on about this because there's just so much to do. There's so much to
Hold on,
unpack with this movie.
There was a
did,
lot. There
hold on.
was
Did
a
you guys?
lot in the story.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm
Trey,
sorry.
Trey.
I feel like you about to end it, but I gotta say it. Did you guys talk about cornbread?
Nah, we didn't get to talk about
Just
cornbread.
not a whole lot.
Listen,
Nah.
man, you gotta talk about
I
cornbread.
mean, if we talk about cornbread, we gotta talk about Slim. Then we gotta talk about Delroy
So,
Lindo's
so,
character.
so the reason I want to talk, well, yeah, we gotta, yeah, y'all didn't talk about, Slim.
No, we were
Oh
focused more on
man.
the music
Oh,
and
so,
the cinematography. We were more focused on
so,
that before you joined in.
so, hold up. I know y'all got time to get off here, but there is some stuff here that we gotta cover.
Yeah, we can do
So, co-
we can go a couple more minutes. Go ahead.
okay. So cornbread. The cool thing about cornbread is, so you know, not cornbread almost represents a hole in the story, right? Almost, and I'll tell you why. Because cornbread, the cornbread goes outside, right?
Hmm.
And but the husband goes outside too. So if cornbread, if he, it was in. I guess what I'm saying is it was inevitable, right? I can't say that word. That one of the vampires were going to get in because uh cornbread cornbread went outside. The girl went outside. So because he went outside after the girl
You went outside
or
Yeah.
after
before the
her,
girl.
yeah, yeah, after
Yeah,
her.
he went
Yeah,
outside. He went outside after the girl.
because
So
he let her in.
right. Um, and then the husband went outside.
Hmm.
To
So
go get the car.
yeah, to go get the car. So somebody was going to get in. Like
Yeah.
what I mean, they did a great job. They didn't create any holes, but so we lean on Mary so much for what she did. But if it wasn't Mary, it was going to be one of the other two. And then and we
Yeah, because they weren't going to question cornbread unless something had already happened.
Exactly.
inside.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Mary had already killed Stack, so that's what like got them suspicious. Like, okay, what's going on
Yeah,
here?
Yeah.
otherwise, the entire
They would have,
discussion
yeah,
at the
Cornbread would
door.
have came in and
Yeah.
killed them. Yeah, or the
Yeah.
Yeah,
husband.
because Annie was the only one who was concerned. Everybody else was like, all right, you
Right.
being weird, but come on.
Right. Um,
She was
and
the one.
and the thing about cornbread, the other thing about cornbread that I wanted to cover was sort of like this big thing of why Smoke and Stack were actually financially in trouble because the people who worked on um the
Plantations.
plantation only had those plantation coins, let's call them,
Bricks.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
to pay with. And that's a big historical thing that was happening at the time all over America. Like these companies, not only in the cornfields, but up in the coal mines. And if you
Mm-hmm.
ever heard the term the company store, so they built these the company store and they built all these villages or I don't know, housing places around these big old companies like coal mining and plantation, sharecroppers and all that. But then they didn't pay. They paid the people in their own in
Currency.
coin in their
Mm-hmm.
own currency. Well, that currency doesn't mean anything off of that plantation or off of that away from that coal mine.
So they're
And
basically prisoners of that
yeah,
company still, yeah.
yeah,
And it was a system that was meant to it was a system that was a step above being enslaved,
right,
and because they would never get out of debt, so to
yeah,
speak, because if
right,
you if I own the money, if I create the money that I'm giving you, and then I can devalue that money at any time.
right,
And that's what they did. They either
right,
devalued the money, but what they did was they either gave them less money for the same work that they did, or they made the prices in the company store higher.
Within, yeah,
yeah,
within, yeah.
yeah,
So
and
you could never win.
right, and particularly with that, that company store thing, you will have people. There's a bunch of old country songs, and this is not only blacks, this is whites, this is Asians, this is anywhere where big industry was happening. This was a
Mm-hmm.
practice at the time, and this is a part of an old country song. I listen to a lot of old countries. I sold my soul to the company store,
Mm-hmm.
and what that is, what that's saying is, you will have these people have families and all that stuff, and they're taking so every time like Ife said, the money is getting devalued or whatever, you got your family going in there trying to shop, and they're basically buying their food on credit.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you're getting paid, and all that money is just going to the company store, and you never get out of this debt thing. So
Right.
when
And that's why a lot of people had a lot of if you start talking to family members in the Black community, a lot of people had to run away, not from slavery, but from sharecropping because they
Mhm,
could never get out of it.
Mm.
My grandfather,
mhm,
my grandfather,
not
my
that long
mom's dad,
ago.
right?
Yep.
Him and his brothers had to run away from Kansas, I believe it was, because they were in that sharecropping
Mhm,
rotation they could never get out of. And so
yep.
in order to get away from that, they had to skip town basically. They had to leave. So they left being in debt
Mhm,
to the farm, but they
mhm.
would never got out of debt. They would have stayed in debt. They would have been there forever. And
So
Mm.
then their
yeah,
children's children would have been working the farm.
and that's such an interesting point that a lot of movies don't talk about during that time, and I thought it was interesting that they decided to put it in. And these guys, they've gotten money from up north, they've come back down here trying to build something, but this economy, they can't even build anything in this economy because the people don't have anything to pay them with. But there's discussion like this is all they have, and are
Mm.
we going to say no to these people? But by not saying no to these people, you're putting yourself in the red. So the girlfriend, Mary, she went
Hmm.
out there. She fully under knowing and understanding what they're up against. Basically went out there trying to make a deal. So it's a very from that it's very nuanced, and I think he was a genius for putting it in the time period that he put it in,
Mm.
because time period is another way of we tell stories. To me, that story isn't as potent as if you put it in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just isn't the same. It's not the same story if you put it in the 70s,
The
but
payoff isn't the same.
and the payoff isn't the same. You're right, but particularly during that time, um, there's just so much history there, so much rich history, bad, good, and otherwise. I hope more people look into it because of this story that he told.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're now coming to the best part of the show. We have a rating system, and that is what do you guys give this movie out of 10? 10 being the greatest thing that you've ever seen. One being the worst crap that you've ever seen. What do you give this movie? We'll start with you, Marty.
Why are we starting with me? We always start with me, then you have me adjust.
Go ahead.
I okay, I really want to see it again. So that's like one thing because I watched it yesterday. I finally got to rent it. I couldn't go to the movie, so I've seen it yesterday and I want to see it again badly. I mean, I thank Trey for having talked me through the color palette and shot list before I watched it because I think I saw a lot more than I would have if I had gone into it before my little education class the other day.
Yeah.
But I still feel like despite of all of this, there was so much in it that I think you have to see it at least twice because there's no way you would have caught onto every like just like what we spoke and everybody saw something that others maybe didn't catch on to because they were so busy processing what happened right before that was still you know that was still going on. I mean, I'm definitely watching it again, um even for just the aesthetics alone. I would probably give it an 8, a strong 8,
All right.
I think.
Ife.
All right. All right.
Um, so I'm somewhere between 9.5. Just because I'm always strong about women having more full stories, and it's lacking a full story for the women. So I would go between 9 and 9.5.
Okay. Trey.
Well, let me first say I don't think any movie can get a 10 out of me. A 10 would be the perfect movie on my scale. So I'm going to say uh an 8. I think I'll go with Marty and I'll say a solid 8. If I had to be a little tougher, I'll say a 7.5, but I'll say a solid 8. And the reason I say a solid 8 is, and to me that to me on my scale a solid 8 is a huge compliment. Um but I really love Annie. Like I love the actress that played her, and I love Annie's story, and I love the nuance of her story. Um, and I thought the cinematography was outstanding. Like the you talking about payoff? Like that scene when they were in the water and the vampire, and the fight scene in the water with the vampire right towards the end, phenomenal. Um, the POV of smoke shooting off the machine gun coming right at the camera, freaking phenomenal. Um, however, in the music scene, when we're going around and we're seeing the evolution of music, that great scene, there was no go-go in it. Um, and I'm from DC, and I don't know what happened there, but there was no go-go band in that scene. There would have been a great place to put a Rare Essence, a Junkyard, a Backyard, a EU.
Yeah,
Like,
but so I'm a push back on that one. How could you? Because remember, the music was there was the music changes a little. How would you just if we only were going by visuals? Because if you just look visually, you could see what music was represented.
mhm.
So if you were going just by visuals, what would be a standout scene or outfit or whatever for go-go music?
No, so I've thought about this. I'm glad you asked. So as he was
Came
going
prepared.
back there where the DJ was at, the
Mhm.
wall, that would have been a great place to put an entire band, like some horns and everything. The reason is you can't get the progression of hip hop where it is today without go-go. Go-go was a bridge. So when you think Salt and Pepper, Heavy D, all those great groups from that period all had go-go intertwined in them. The other piece of it is go-go is a direct link from African music with the strong percussion. So you either got to go go-go or you got to go New Orleans. And I didn't see um I definitely was no go-go. I'll have to look it for it again to see if I see any of the horns to represent New Orleans.
I
But
But
did
those,
I
see New.
also
I saw New Orleans. Remember the girl at the bar, twerking? The beat
that's
change. That was New
what
Orleans.
I
The
gotta
beat.
look at it again.
That beat
gotta look
change.
at the
Big
Yeah.
but
Big
I will
Bass.
also say though, I think you overestimate how much people know about go-go music.
No, that's what I'm saying. People don't know enough about go-go music and don't know the purpose, which is the reason it needs to be everywhere and fully represented. It is there's no people in existence who have ever heard go-go and it didn't speak to something deep down in their DNA. Rhythm is so deep in DNA, like people don't even the scientists don't even know where it's at. Like they haven't identified what gives a person rhythm yet. So we know
Yeah.
that it is something intertwined in DNA. Like from a scientific level, we know that. We also know that, like you guys were speaking about when I came in, um, like that rhythm and that the rhythm. We always talk about the vibe. What type of vibe did it give her? We're talking about
Mhm.
rhythm. We're talking about music. So long story short, I'm just here for go go. It wasn't there, so it's getting an 8. But it's one of it's clear, easily the best movie of 2025.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Cool. Cool. For me, I'm gonna give it a solid 8, and that's not very often I do that. Barty already knows that I don't give
Yep.
movies 8. So this movie was really good. To for me to give it a 10 is gonna be almost impossible. I can't even give. Yeah. So it's an 8. It's a solid 8. I don't want them to do a sequel. I'm okay with a prequel, but I don't even think Ryan is even interested in that, and I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
Um,
I,
but
but and the other reason I gotta go with an 8, like I really want to go with a 9, but how many? Can you imagine like being at home and your wife never comes back, and then maybe you find out that she was burned down fighting with her boyfriend, fighting vampires. Like, if you ever even find out,
Right.
like, that
But
was terrible.
yeah,
but and here's the thing too, because there's two
There was two
husbands who
of
are
them,
waiting for
right? I
wives
was
that
gonna
never
say there was
right.
two of them.
But the crazy thing is, think about it. Like Sammy almost he had to leave. Who
Yeah,
he was gonna share that story with?
yeah.
right,
There's
Nobody
no
will.
proof.
No, nobody will
There was
believe
no
him.
proof. They burned.
right.
Yeah,
So I
Okay, but
I
know.
did
mean, the only
anybody
way they
wonder?
knew.
Because I was actively wondering about that now that Trey mentions that these women just showed up there and like, what did you tell your husband where you are right now? Like, this is for some
Yeah.
reason really weird to me. Like, I don't know.
but Ife,
Uh,
I think the pastor, the father would believe that story.
Yes,
the,
but he's also the pastor and he's also the dad. So I feel like he would downplay it because he also there's like a what some pastors there's like a control piece, and that's why sometimes they don't tell people everything. And
I
I
don't
feel
know
like
the way the
they
dad
would
was.
kind of say like evil happened or like he chose the wrong path type of thing instead of going into specifics.
So
That's what I
what
feel
was
like.
the line? And I want to say at the end because it felt like that was the end of the film, and then there was two more ends of the film. That's how it felt.
right.
What
I
was the
love it.
line when the pastor said to his son, "Let go of the guitar," and why doesn't he? Like, what would you
Yeah.
say is the significance of that? Other than, of
So
course, he's the trauma that he's still living it, but
Hmm.
I just think music is so the music is just is so ingrained in him that even though he knows they can lead to a dark path, he cannot let it go. He cannot let it go. He
yeah.
has, you know.
but it was
Go
no
ahead.
longer an instrument at that point. It
Yeah,
had to,
right.
Yeah.
but it
I
had.
think it represented him making his own decisions about his life. He
Okay.
Yeah.
didn't want to be known as the pastor's son.
Yeah.
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 He want to be known as himself.
Yeah.
And I think
Came
it
me with the great
represented
voice.
him making his own path in life. But he was like, so he wanted to go. He
Yeah.
wanted to make
That was
his own
powerful, by
way.
the way.
Yeah.
That cut from his face to his like old face with the
Yeah.
scar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
You know what?
Yeah.
really
You
good.
know what, Marty? I thank you for bringing up that point because I think I'm gonna change my vote to a 9. I gotta go 9. Um, I gotta go 9 because he didn't let go. He
No.
held on to his self,
He
like
did.
in because there's a famous line from some movie that I always quote, and it's like, "You got to be who you are in this world." I think Denzel said it in one of his movies, but in the spite of what everything you go through, you got to hold on to that thing that is you, because what's the use of surviving if you're not gonna be you?
You
Yeah.
live your life. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, guys. Well, I want to say thank you to Ife and Trey for joining us for this special episode. This we really learned a lot. We're gonna have to, do more to our unboxing, Marty, and stuff like that. But anyway, this is gonna be Marty's last episode for the next couple of weeks. She's traveling to Germany and then Poland starting next
Mhm.
week.
Oh
So
wow.
Marty,
Going home. I
safe
haven't been in over 6 years, so
6 years. So
Wow.
safe travels.
Yes,
and
yes.
and we're trying to see if we can do one episode when she's in Germany and in Poland. I'm trying to see if she can do it outside so we can hear people speaking in German and Polish in both places. She said she's gonna try. We'll see how that goes. But again, Ife and Trey, thank you guys for joining us on this episode. We truly appreciate it. Thank you for your perspective and your insight, and just breaking things down even further for us and bringing different talking points. For everyone here, if you everyone that's watching, if you like this episode, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave comments. If you've seen Sinners, if you haven't seen Sinners, what's going on, man? What's going on?
That
Go
part.
get it. It's on
yeah,
Amazon.
your
It's on Amazon
excuse.
Prime. It's $20 to
yeah.
rent. I'm sorry, it's $20 to rent, but get it.
It's
You're not
worth
going to
it.
be
Michael B.
disappointed.
Jordan. Michael B.
Yeah,
No,
Jordan
it's
is a
Mike.
only no,
genius.
no, 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 no. It is not worth it. And let me explain. It's only $4 more to own it.
I bought it.
Yeah,
I
there you
bought it.
go.
I bought it. 24. I
So
bought it
it's
for
not worth it.
$24.
It's,
I bought it. I own it now. I own it. But
I think
anyway,
isn't it coming out on Blu-ray? I'm waiting for the Blu-ray.
the
I don't
Blu-ray.
know.
Okay,
I,
so
I feel like I have
for the special
I have
features.
a
Okay.
Blu-ray somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, can
So
okay.
So please, and we should do this again. Bring in more people, and this is something we're going to start doing a little bit more as the episodes keep coming along. Try to bring more people in to get their different perspective and all that stuff like that. And we're going to try to use it. Well, these are filmmakers, but maybe one of these days we'll bring just regular people who aren't filmmakers and see how they see
Regular
movies.
Yeah.
mortals.
Yeah, mere
Immortals.
mortals,
Mere
just
mortals.
the
mere
commoners will get
mortals.
Hey,
Mortals.
Yeah.
hey, I
So
want to can I
go
shout
ahead.
out a couple of things first? Can I
Yeah,
shout
go
out
ahead.
a couple of
Mhm.
things? Hey, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. Thanks it's been great to be here, but I want to shout out two projects. One, Season for Love is one of the projects that I worked on as a AD and a producer. You can find it on Amazon Prime, on Fandango. A Season for Love is a great love story. Please go check it out. And also on YouTube, Roommates, a chaos comedy. It's a web series. It's starring Mr. Oyede
Oh
R.O.
yeah,
Bola
Bola.
Ande. Uh, and Bola is
Terry.
the star and co-writer.
What's your name?
It's
What's your name again in the show? Please tell
Oh my
me.
God, please don't let me say it.
no, no, no. You can't
It's
Teterie
the
say
best
Garanganga.
thing.
it.
Garayonga.
Oh, but yeah, starring Bola and starring Terry Montreal. You can find it on YouTube. It's a web series. Episode 4 is actually dropping pretty soon. I guess by the time this airs, episode 4 will be out. But support, please.
Support. And I will leave the link in the description for you to be able to click to see Season for Love on Amazon and also to watch Roommates on YouTube. So guys, we will see you next week. I'm going to be doing a Q. I'm going to try to organize a Q&A with Terrence for him to come unbox his own movie the season
Hmm.
for love. So look out for that one. That one's coming up shortly. Marty,
Sweet.
safe travels, you
Thank
know,
you.
Yes.
and
Safe
we will see
travels.
you guys next time.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you.